Have you ever had just a terrible day the day before doing something that you loved, and then you got up, you got some good sleep, and you got up the next day, and a new day, new dawn, everything's right with the world, and you just have a great day? Have you ever had that happen to you? Or how about have you just made a bad mistake? You done it to yourself, but everything works out anyway. Well, that's kind of the way this day went on this hike from Virginia 60 up through Ridges and the Priest Wilderness area over to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Let's go ahead and get on that hike with me. All right, y'all are getting a rare treat. I'm doing a check-in for the day before I leave camp. There's nobody here. It's just me and whatever's out there in them woods. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea. I've kind of got a yard sale, mini yard sale going on over here. Trying not to let anything touch the table that I'm going to be putting in my mouth, because there's no telling if there's NORO on this table or not. But anyway, if I had breakfast, had my coffee. Here's the highlight of my breakfast that I rarely ever get. Iced honey bun. Oh my gosh, that tastes so good. I haven't eaten one in years, and I always forget to take them on my hiking trip with me. And I don't eat them because they're so freaking fattening. But here, if I'm burning 4,000 to 7,000 calories a day, and I think I'm on a higher 7,000 with the hills I've hit, particularly yesterday, well, I'm going to eat me a honey bun at least once. Today's plan is to make it to the Priest. I think that's 15-ish miles, so should be good. And then tomorrow it'll be 15-ish miles, so we'll see how we feel afterwards. But we are getting a lot earlier start. It's about 6 o'clock, a little after 6:15, so it's taken me so far 40 minutes. I should be rolling down here in another 10. All right, and we'll get going up the trail. I am standing here at Cow Camp Gap. That's easy to say 6 times. Staying here, so I got a 5-mile uphill to get back to the trail, but it's an easy grade. And this is a good campsite as well. So you got a good shelter. It'll sleep, says 6, but it'll sleep more than that. But typical for Virginia in this area, this type of shelter. There's some rocky tent sites here. I slept over there. The stream runs right down through there, so good flowing water. And then got a picnic table, fire ring, privy, and then back up the hill, back up through there at that trail, there's a meadow. And there's some really good campsites there. So plenty of campsites here for folks. So come on down if you want to. All right, I'll check in later. I did want to say one thing about the water source here at this camp. So right there's the privy, and right there's the water source. I don't know, that's a little concerning to me. That's less than 100 feet away, and that privy is, at that point up there, probably 6 feet deep. So, I mean, what's the chances of it getting in the groundwater and coming out in the creek? I'd say pretty freaking high. I don't know. Sure, somebody smarter than me figured out it would be acceptable to put it there, but I'm used to seeing them way up in the woods, a long way away from any water source. That just seems a little close to me. So, go above the privy to get your water source here. And be sure you filter. All right, time to hit the trail. See ya up trail. So this is the grade coming out of here. Like I said, it's not a hard grade, but it is a grade nonetheless. And it is the longest half-mile on the trail. I normally don't come a half-mile trail to the shelter, but I was beat last night, and the next shelter was, the next campsite really wasn't a shelter, it was a road crossing with a meadow and a spring after it. It was like 3.8 miles, so not getting started to 5 and having that huge up. I was beat and running out of daylight. So getting started obviously earlier this morning. It's already muggy.
Heck, I was sweating putting my shoes on. Shoes and socks. So anyway, we'll see how far I get today. Hopefully I'll make it to the priest. All right. Charlie Mike. Well, I'm on top of Cold Mountain. 360-degree views. Listen to them birds. Yeah, got a little bit of wind blowing up here. Got some rocks you can stand on, climb up to the top of without busting it. Oh, and see for freaking miles. Definitely came over that sucker. And then we're heading this way. And my understanding is I go through all of those, probably go over that sucker too. But I go through all of those fields for the next half mile. But anyway, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Makes the climb all the worthwhile. As long as I didn't have a heart attack. Hello, Mr. Cottontail. How are you doing today? Don't see a lot of us around here, do you? That's all right. I'm not gonna bother you. How about that? Little Peter Cottontail. I want y'all to see this just because it's a really pretty section. Anytime you can hit these balds. Not supposed to be any camping or anything up here, but there is. But they specific sign up that says, oh look, I get to go through that one after going down. But still, even though they got signs, they don't want you starting fires or balls up there. Imagine it gets pretty windy, and of course if everybody did that, start looking like Max Patch used to. All right, I'll show you some more in a minute. I love walking through those balds that have those fields like that. Reminds me of the Roan Mountain Highlands. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like a field of lavender, lilac. I'm not sure what the purple stuff is. Not much of a botanist. Maybe somebody here knows and leave a comment down below what that is. I'll get a little closer. You can see, but oh man, so pretty. And hey, trail maintainers, thanks for coming up here. I don't know if you use a bush hog or what you use to get up here, but appreciate you keeping the grass down, because it sucks to walk through high grass in the morning and in the summer when there's nothing but ticks. Whew. Boy, ain't God's creation gorgeous. Yeah. So that's very cool. Met Pac and his wife. They're viewers, and they're doing a section hike through here. So it's always awesome to meet viewers and subscribers on the trail. It's really neat to just chat and see how things are going out there with them and everything. So nice to meet you, Pac, and maybe I'll see you again on trail. There's some type of giant ragweed looking thing that's poisonous. I don't know if these are it, but it's like it burns when you get some of the seeds on you. But I don't know if that's it or not. Somebody knows A, what that is, and B, what the poison stuff is, and C, if that's it. Let me know in the comments down below. Be very curious about that. And so would people watching this to come through later on. All right, I'm about a mile out of Hog Cap Gap, and understand there's trail magic there, so that's cool. Really all I'm needing is a water bottle, but if they got more, I'll take it. But I'm needing a larger water bottle. I'm making it for what I got, but it's not convenient to have to stop at more than I'm used to springs. And right now in this heat dome we got going on in the Virginia area, and the humidity, well, you got to stay hydrated and you got to keep those electrolytes up, right? All right, looking forward to sitting down a little bit, maybe getting a little trail magic or just chatting with folks. I've seen one other person today. I've been silk blazing. So y'all know what silk blazing is, right? All right. Continuing downhill. Holy moly. There's a ton of this, if it's poisonous ragweed, through here. If it's not, awesome. But if it is, that could be problematic if you fall into that stuff. Yeah, this place is eat up with whatever this is. But it's pretty. So is a Portuguese man of war. Alright, so I've been since Hogcat Gamp. Been going up and down, but none of them have been bad. Had several places where I'm walking along the ridge line here. So this is nice. You get out in the sunlight and it's 10 degrees warmer. So the better I can stay in this green tunnel, the better. But it's hot, no doubt. Whew. But it sure is pretty. And I am loving the day. So yesterday you heard me whining like a guy. I'm not gonna say like a girl, that's sexist. We'll say like a guy. Because that's what I identify as. So, yeah. But today, doing much better. I have not heard my heart beating in my ears or felt it beating in my scalp one time. So, that's a good thing. I've also slowed down on the ups rather than coming right out of the gate. I've intentionally slowed down, so I think that's helped a lot. For y'all that follow me on a regular basis, you know, I talk about my plantar fasciitis. So far, so good this trip. Got up this morning, of course, have to stretch just like I do at home. Stretched out my calves and my glutes and my plantar fascia tendon, and I'm good to go so far. Now, we'll see how that goes tonight at mile 15. You know, but I hear from when we hiked the Foothills Trail at the end of day's hike that I put on every year. I think we did 20 miles, not the last day, but the day before the last day. And come along, and OG were with me, and I'm gonna tell you a neat story about OG here in just a minute. But anyway, both hiking buddies, particularly come along from my hometown and where I currently live. And anyway, everybody's feet were screaming at them. So I don't feel so bad if everybody's feet screams at them. So maybe everybody has a touch of plantar fasciitis. Let me know how far you can go before your feet hurt, even if you can go forever. Be interesting to know. All right, Charlie Mike up trail. So as I'm hiking, I've noticed we got a lot of rocks that are sitting on the surface, and they're really rounded off. We're at the top of the mountain. Of course, I know this may be due to erosion. Look at that big stack over there, but they got a lot of cracks in them and stuff, and And then I've seen some, I called them the three wise men, but that are just kind of sitting there all in a row. And then you got like the guillotine that's south of here. And I can't help wonder, okay, is a lot of this glacial till during the Ice Age when the glaciers, the ice extended this far south? I don't know. I know we got some geologists in the group. Used to have one called Rock and Roll. And I think he was rock and roll because of his geology background. But anyway, you might leave a comment. I'm just curious if it could be glacial till or if it's all just from erosion. All right, it's a little after midday, a little after noon. I am stopped back there at the shelter. Can't remember the name of it. I'll put it down here. So I got about 4.4 from that shelter to get to the Priest. So that's not going to be a problem. I do have a huge climb, I believe. But I think I'm still going to be good to get there around 4. Even if I got there at 5, that's the time I started yesterday. And I could still, after the Priest, I think it's a little uphill, but most of it's downhill to get to the tire. I don't know how to pronounce it. River. Suspension bridge there. Could get in the river. Supposed to be some good campsites. Of course, the river's a source. They say it's not a great source or not a desirable source because it's proximity to the road and pastures above it and stuff. But I got a filter, so I'll just filter it. By the way, back there at that shelter, that water was coming from the source, straight out of the side of the hill in a 3-inch PVC pipe. So, first time I've ever seen that big a pipe. And it was getting it. So I filled up my CNOC, 2-liter CNOC in seconds. So that's a good source. Even right now, we haven't had rain in this area for weeks. All right, that is the plan. Check back in later. Looks like we've come up on a apple orchard. Not unusual to do that. Of course, they're not maintained, so the apples aren't, very big because there's so much fruit that gets put out that all the effort goes into multiple fruit. But oftentimes you'll be hiking all of a sudden on top of a mountain somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you'll run into an apple orchard. Or what's left of one from days gone by. Anyway, thought I'd share. All right, I'm done sharing. Well, this is considerably more interesting than the old apple orchard. This is Spy Rock. It's this giant rock on top of a hill. And it's gorgeous. Now it's not on the trail per se, it's a blue blaze, but it's, I don't know, 1/10 of a mile maybe. Not a big deal. It's a nice respite to come up here and get you some winter would be good to get sun, but hot as it is, it's at least good to get a breeze. Maybe dry out your clothes a bit on the hot rocks and the wind. But anyway, some trees in the way, but it's basically 360-degree views. Picture there, the Shenandoah Valley. All right, we better head on down the trail. We got to get to the Priest. I don't know where it's at and if I got to climb over all those hills or not. I don't think so, because I think the Priest is only like 4 miles away, but I'm a bad judge of distance in the mountains like that. So we'll see. All right, I'm coming up on the Priest in less than a mile. The Priest shelter. I am in the Priest wilderness proper, and I am climbing the Priest. Apparently that's what this mountain is called. But it's all up. I don't know if there's anything godly about it. I guess it is. It's his creation, but man, the devil's in this sucker, that's for sure. This is probably, this section of trail is the least maintained of any of them. I don't know if this has been cut at all this year. Most of the trail through here, this section's been really well maintained, but whoever's got this section is on their butt. But I wanted y'all to see it. All right, I'm more slap out. I got to decide if I can make it to the Priest. Well, I'm going to make it to the Priest. It's going to be a 16 miler, which is where I'm trying to stop at. Just because I stopped pushing myself so much. But there's an alternative. It's like 4.5 miles away from the Priest shelter, and it's a river. It's got good camp spots, and I can get in it, cool down. That sounds really inviting, and that turns it into like a 21 mile day. But with the exception of looks like a half mile uphill coming out of the Priest shelter, it looks like it's all downhill from there. So I got some thinking to do. All right, let me go.
Well, this is in hyperspace.
Oh, that was too funny. I recorded that in hyperlapse. Doesn't have any sound to it, but boy, my mouth's running a mile a minute. Okay, so let me do it one more time. So I'm here at the Priest shelter. I decided not to go on to the river. I would have loved to have a cold dip in the river, but the time I got down there and got set up, it's going to be 5 miles. It would have been, really, really pushing it to get there and get set up, getting some chow, and then get in the river by dark. So I just decided I would stay here. It was a 16-mile day today, and thought that would have made it like a 21-mile day. I'm trying really hard to cut back on my mileage just so that I can enjoy it more. And so that gives me about a 15-miler out tomorrow, which is what I did today. So no big deal. Got here at 6, so that's what time I'll be probably pulling out of here tomorrow. Difference is I'll be heading south, going back home. All right, folks, that is it for the evening. We will chat with you all in La Mañana.
Well, that day turned out pretty good. A little thirsty all day. Didn't have enough water, but made it. Had a great time. Didn't have any kind of heart issues like I had the day before. And so it turned out really good. If you hadn't seen the first installment of this 3-part series on this hike from Virginia 60 over to the Blue Ridge Parkway, about 40 miles, go check that out down here. And if you want to look at the playlist of this whole hike, all 3, then you can go check that out down here. Appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.